0341 hours. San Francisco. The servers flashed red. 512,000 lines of classified source code vanished. Not stolen by spies, inadvertently leaked. The most dangerous weapon on Earth was suddenly free. This was not a missile. This was not a submarine. This was a digital Manhattan project. Each Ford-class aircraft carrier cost $13 billion. Each Mythos AI zero-day exploit costs a fraction of a cent to generate. For every dollar the enemy spends on code, American taxpayers spend billions in useless steel. 5,000 American sailors aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln rely on digital systems to survive. What happens when those systems turn against them? 38 minutes. That is all it would take to transform American naval supremacy into a catastrophic tragedy. But here is what nobody tells you about the new face of war. The battlefield is no longer defined by geography. The battlefield is defined by access. And on March 26, 2026, the United States lost its monopoly on access. Anthropic inadvertently leaked approximately 3,000 unpublished assets. They leaked the brain of their unreleased Mythos AI model. Then, on March 31st, it happened again. The floodgates opened. You need to understand the scale of this disaster. This is not a chatbot. This is an autonomous hunter-killer program designed for cyberspace. Testing revealed a terrifying reality. Mythos autonomously discovered thousands of zero-day vulnerabilities across major operating systems. It found flaws in browsers. It found flaws in secure networks. As of April 7, 2026, a staggering 99% of those vulnerabilities were completely undefended. Think about that for a second. 99%. The doors to the most secure facilities on Earth were suddenly blown wide open. But look closer at the timeline. The real panic did not start in the Pentagon. The real panic started on Wall Street. The revelation of these offensive capabilities sent a shockwave through the financial sector. Major cybersecurity stocks plummeted. They saw an immediate drop of 6 to 9%. Investors realized the truth. The shields were useless. The sword had become too sharp. And that was the moment everything changed for the military. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth stepped to the podium. His face was grim. He officially designated Anthropic a supply chain risk to national security. The words echoed through the halls of the Pentagon. President Donald Trump took immediate action. He ordered all federal agencies to cut ties with the company. The blacklist was absolute. The message was clear. The United States government would not partner with a compromised entity. But the Pentagon knew the situation was spiraling out of control. DoD Undersecretary of War Emil Michael broke standard protocol. He spoke directly to the press. His words were a chilling wake-up call. He said, hello? Is it not clear yet that we have a problem here? He was not exaggerating. He was looking at the raw data. He saw the vulnerability of every single weapon system in the American arsenal. Run the numbers with me. An Arleigh Burke-class destroyer uses the Aegis Combat System. It relies on the AN/SPY-6 AMDR radar. That radar has a detection range exceeding 300 nautical miles. It is a technological marvel. But it runs on code. Millions of lines of code. If a zero-day exploit shuts down that radar, the ship is blind. A $2 billion warship becomes a sitting duck. A $20,000 drone could sink it. This is the math of danger. This is the asymmetric nightmare. But what they did not know was that the leak was already spreading. On April 21, 2026, Reuters dropped a bombshell report. A small group of unauthorized users had successfully accessed the Mythos AI model. They did not hack a secure server. They found it on a private online forum. The keys to the kingdom were sitting on a message board. Who were these users? Were they Chinese state hackers? Were they Russian intelligence operatives? Were they independent cyber criminals? The truth is far more terrifying. It does not matter who they were, because defense analysts confirmed the worst-case scenario. Mythos effectively erases the state actor's premise. This was the foundation of the United States military doctrine of persistent engagement. For decades, we believed only nations could launch massive cyber attacks. Only China had the resources. Only Russia had the manpower. But Mythos changes the rules of the game. It allows non-state actors to wield nation-state-level cyber power. A teenager in a basement now has the destructive capability of a PLA cyber division. A rogue terrorist group can now blind military satellites. They can spoof AIS tracking data. They can turn off the power grid in major American cities. But the story gets even darker. Bloomberg News confirmed another breach on April 24, 2026. Unauthorized testers accessed advanced capabilities through a third-party vendor environment. Anthropic was forced to restrict portal access immediately. The leak was not a single hole in the boat. The boat was made of Swiss cheese. The code was everywhere. And this brings us to the ultimate hypocrisy. The public-facing narrative was total isolation. The president banned them. The defense secretary condemned them. But behind closed doors, a different game was being played. The National Security Agency operates in the shadows. They saw the destructive power of Mythos, and they wanted it. Despite the Pentagon blacklist, the NSA is actively using the Mythos preview model. Why? Because they are terrified. They are using it to scan their own environments for security vulnerabilities. They are fighting fire with fire. But here is the problem with that strategy. You cannot control a fire that has already burned down the forest. On April 14, 2026, the paper trail exposed the panic. White House Office of Management and Budget Federal CIO Gregory Barbacha sent an urgent email. He messaged the cabinet departments. He stated the OMB is establishing protections to allow federal agencies to access Mythos. Wait, did you catch that? The same AI that was banned by executive order was being quietly reintegrated. The government realized they could not survive without it. If the enemy has the ultimate weapon, you must possess it too, even if it is broken, even if it is dangerous. The backroom deals accelerated. On April 17, 2026, Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei walked into the White House. He held a desperate meeting with White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent was also at the table. They were not discussing tech regulations. They were discussing national survival. They needed to figure out safe government engagement with the AI, but how do you safely engage with a system that just armed the entire world against you? You throw money at the problem. Anthropic launched Project Glasswing. They restricted official access to only 40 organizations. The list included heavyweights like Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, and the NSA. They provided them with $100 million in usage credits. The goal was simple: build defenses before the enemy attacks. But $100 million is a drop in the ocean. The global financial system was already cracking under the pressure. Regulators from Australia convened emergency meetings in late April 2026. The Australian Securities and Investments Commission and the Australian Prudential Regulation Authority sounded the alarm. They warned banks that Mythos could destabilize the entire banking infrastructure. South Korea followed suit immediately. The Financial Supervisory Service and the Financial Services Commission held their own crisis talks in Seoul. They understood the stakes. If a non-state actor uses Mythos to exploit a zero-day in the SWIFT banking system, global trade stops. The economy collapses in 72 hours. Supply chains freeze. Fuel stops moving. Ships stay in port. This is not a theoretical exercise. This is a rehearsal for the end of American dominance. Let us map out the worst-case scenario. Imagine the South China Sea. The United States Navy deploys a carrier strike group to deter Chinese aggression against Taiwan. The USS Abraham Lincoln sails through the Strait of Malacca. 5,000 sailors are ready for combat. F-35 fighter jets are fueled and armed. The Chinese maritime militia swarms the area. The tension is palpable. But the Chinese military does not fire a single physical missile. They do not need to. They have integrated the leaked Mythos AI into their cyber warfare division. They unleash a swarm of autonomous code. The AI targets the ALIS logistics system of the F-35 fleet. Within seconds, the jets are grounded by false maintenance errors. Next, the AI targets the Aegis Combat System. It exploits an undefended zero-day vulnerability discovered by Mythos weeks earlier. The radar screens on the destroyers go blank. The communication links with Anthropic are severed. The mighty carrier strike group is instantly deaf, dumb, and blind. They are floating targets in hostile waters. This is the reality of the new battlefield. We spent $850 billion on a defense budget designed for the last war. We built the most advanced ships on the planet. We trained the most lethal commandos, but we left the digital backdoor completely unlocked, and Anthropic just handed the keys to our greatest adversaries. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard no longer needs to build a nuclear bomb to threaten the West. They just need an internet connection and the Mythos source code. They can target the civilian infrastructure of the United States. They can shut down the water treatment plants in Los Angeles. They can disable the air traffic control systems in New York. The chaos would be unprecedented. But look closer at the Pentagon response. They are scrambling to patch systems that were never designed to face an AI threat. The SM-6 interceptor is a marvel of engineering. It can reach out and kill a target 150 nautical miles away. Before the enemy even knows they are detected, they are already dead. But the SM-6 requires targeting data. If Mythos corrupts that data, the missile is useless. The entire architecture of American power projection relies on data integrity. The Minuteman, 3 silos in North Dakota, rely on secure networks. The Patriot, PAC, 3 batteries in the Middle East rely on secure networks. The Virginia-class submarines prowling the depths rely on secure networks. If those networks are compromised, the weapons are neutralized. This is why the NSA is desperately using the Mythos preview model. They are racing against the clock. They are trying to find the vulnerabilities before the enemy exploits them, but it is a losing battle. The AI works faster than human operators. It processes millions of lines of code in seconds. It finds flaws that human engineers missed for decades. And the enemy knows this. The hackers in Beijing are not sleeping. The operatives in Moscow are not resting. They are analyzing the 512,000 lines of leaked source code. They are building custom malware payloads. They are preparing for a synchronized global cyber offensive. The 6 to 9% drop in cybersecurity stocks was just the tremor before the earthquake. You must understand the strategic implications. The United States can no longer rely on technological superiority to deter conflict. If our technology is turned against us, our size becomes a liability. A massive aircraft carrier is just a massive target if its defense systems are offline. A stealth fighter is just an expensive glider if its software crashes mid-flight. We are standing on the precipice of a new era of warfare. The lines between state and non-state actors have been erased. The lines between military and civilian targets have been blurred. The lines between peace and war have vanished. We are in a state of persistent digital combat. And right now, we are losing. The White House meetings did not solve the problem. Project Glasswing is a band-aid on a bullet wound. 40 organizations getting $100 million in credits will not secure the global internet. It will only protect a tiny fraction of the critical infrastructure. The rest of the world is left to fend for itself. The banks in Australia and South Korea know this. That is why they are panicking. But here is the most terrifying part of this entire ordeal. The leak was inadvertent. Anthropic did not maliciously sell this technology to the enemy. They simply made a mistake. A security flaw in their own systems allowed the most dangerous AI in history to escape. If the creators of the AI cannot secure their own servers, how can the Pentagon secure the nation? This is a bankrupt strategy. No nation on Earth can afford to win a war where the enemy controls the digital environment. We have built a glass house, and we just handed out sledgehammers to everyone on the street. The military brass knows this. Emil Michael knew this when he made his public statement. The frustration in his voice was real. The fear was palpable. We have entered uncharted territory. The rules of deterrence no longer apply. Mutually assured destruction was based on nuclear weapons. It was based on the premise that a launch would be detected and countered. But a cyber attack using Mythos 0 days happens in milliseconds. There is no warning. There is no radar blip. There is only the sudden catastrophic failure of critical systems. Imagine waking up to a world where nothing works. Your bank account is frozen. Your city is dark. Your military is paralyzed. This is not science fiction. This is the exact scenario regulators and defense analysts are preparing for right now. The 3,000 unpublished assets leaked on March 26th were the blueprints for this apocalypse. And the government response is a masterclass in contradiction. Ban the company publicly. Use the product secretly. Beg the CEO for help behind closed doors. It is a desperate scramble to regain control of a situation that is fundamentally uncontrollable. The genie is out of the bottle. The code is in the wild. The Chinese military is watching this unfold with intense interest. They have spent decades trying to close the conventional military gap with the United States. They built ships, they built planes, they built missiles, but they always knew they were playing catch-up. Now, they do not have to catch up. They can simply turn off the American war machine. The implications for naval power are particularly devastating. A modern warship is a floating data center. It requires constant connectivity to operate at peak efficiency. If that connectivity is weaponized, the ship becomes a tomb. The Aegis system is designed to track and destroy hundreds of incoming threats simultaneously. But it cannot track a threat that exists inside its own programming. This is the ultimate Trojan horse. And we invited it inside. We integrated commercial software into military hardware to save money. We prioritized efficiency over security. We believed the tech companies could protect their secrets. We were wrong. The events of March and April 2026 proved just how wrong we were. The timeline of failure is undeniable. March 26th, the first leak. March 31st, the second leak. April 7th, the realization of the zero-day threat. April 14th, the OMB panic. April 17th, the White House meeting. April 21st, the Reuters report on the private forum. April 24th, the Bloomberg confirmation of the third-party vendor breach. It was a cascading failure of security. Every single day brought a new revelation of incompetence. Every single day brought a new level of danger. And the American public was largely kept in the dark. They were told it was a supply chain risk. They were not told that the fundamental architecture of modern civilization was suddenly vulnerable to anyone with a laptop and an internet connection. Think about the sheer volume of code. 512,000 lines. That is enough complex logic to dismantle the security protocols of every major operating system on the market. Windows, Mac OS, Linux. Nothing is safe, and if the operating systems are compromised, the applications running on them are compromised. The databases are compromised. The communication networks are compromised. The military relies on these commercial operating systems for logistics, planning, and administration. You cannot fight a war if you cannot order fuel. You cannot fight a war if you cannot pay your soldiers. You cannot fight a war if you cannot communicate with your allies. Mythos targets the soft underbelly of the military-industrial complex, and the cost asymmetry is staggering. The United States spends billions developing a single weapons platform. The enemy spends nothing. They just download the leaked code. They deploy it. They watch the billion-dollar platform grind to a halt. It is the ultimate equalizer. It is the end of superpower dominance. This is why the NSA is breaking the rules. This is why they are ignoring the president's executive order. They know that compliance means defeat. They must understand the weapon to build the shield. But the shield may be impossible to build. 99% undefended. That number should keep every military commander awake at night. How do you patch thousands of zero-day vulnerabilities across millions of devices in a matter of weeks? You cannot. It is mathematically impossible. The attack surface is too large. The enemy is too fast. The AI is too smart. We are fighting a war of attrition against a machine that does not sleep, does not eat, and does not make mistakes. The geopolitical landscape has been permanently altered. Alliances are straining under the pressure. Australia and South Korea are looking at the United States and asking a very simple question: can you protect us? If you cannot protect your own internal servers, how can you protect the Indo-Pacific region? How can you guarantee the security of the global financial system? The answer is terrifying. We cannot. The United States is no longer the undisputed master of the digital domain. We are just another target. We are just another vulnerable node in a hyper-connected world. The leak of the Mythos AI exposed the fragility of our power. It revealed the illusion of our security, and the adversaries are emboldened. They see an opportunity to strike without firing a shot. They see an opportunity to cripple the American economy without crossing a physical border. They see an opportunity to win the war before it even begins. The digital battlefield has been leveled, and the United States is suddenly fighting for its life. Every commander in the Pentagon is running simulations. They are trying to predict where the first massive attack will occur. Will it be the power grid? Will it be the banking sector? Will it be the communication satellites? Will it be a targeted strike against a deployed carrier group? The uncertainty is paralyzing. You cannot defend against an attack if you do not know where it will come from. You cannot deter an enemy if you do not know who they are. The state actor's premise is dead. The new reality is chaos. The new reality is thousands of independent actors armed with nation-state capabilities. The new reality is a world where the most dangerous weapon is not a nuclear warhead, but a string of code. The $100 million in usage credits provided by Project Glasswing is a desperate attempt to buy time. But time is running out. The vulnerabilities are out there. The exploits are being crafted. The countdown has started. The events of early 2026 will be remembered as the turning point. The moment the United States lost its technological edge, the military must adapt or perish. They must fundamentally rethink how they design, build, and deploy weapon systems. They must assume that every network is compromised. They must assume that every digital system is hostile. They must learn to fight in the dark, because the lights are about to go out. The leaked Mythos AI is not just a software problem. It is a strategic catastrophe. It is a threat to the very survival of the nation. The government knows this. The military knows this. The financial regulators know this. And now you know this. The age of American military dominance has ended. The age of digital anarchy has begun. But look closer at the actions of the NSA. They are not just scanning for vulnerabilities. They are studying the AI. They are learning how it thinks. They are learning how it hunts. They are preparing to build their own autonomous cyber weapons. The arms race has not stopped. It has simply shifted to a new domain. We are entering a cold war of algorithms. A silent conflict fought in the shadows of the internet. A war where the casualties are not soldiers, but servers. Where the collateral damage is not cities, but economies. The stakes have never been higher. The margin for error has never been smaller. The next global conflict will not start with a massive amphibious invasion. It will not start with a surprise aerial bombardment. It will start with a quiet, invisible execution of code. The radar screens will go blank. The communication lines will go dead. The power will fail. and the world will hold its breath. The question is no longer if this will happen. The question is when. The enemy has the weapon. They have the access. They have the motive. The United States is scrambling to build defenses, but the wall is already breached. The fortress is compromised. The enemy is inside the gates. So, what happens next? What happens when a rogue hacker group decides to test the limits of the Mythos AI? What happens when they target the New York Stock Exchange? What happens when they target the Pentagon's internal communication network? We are about to find out. The digital storm is gathering, and there is nowhere to hide.